Loki sacrificed everything to hold the multiverse together. But what if he wasn't saving it, just replacing one villain with another? In this mind-bending exploration, we're diving deep into the twisted world of the Time Variance Authority, unraveling the lies behind the so-called sacred timeline, and exposing how Loki's final act in Season 2 might be the most cunning manipulation we've seen yet. From the moment we first stepped into the sterile halls of the TVA, something felt off. Sure, they claimed to be the guardians of the timeline, protecting reality from the chaos of unchecked branching. But let us be real. Any organization that prunes entire realities and wipes people from existence isn't exactly screaming good guys. Think about it. The TVA's entire purpose was to maintain a single, predetermined timeline. They called it sacred. But sacred to whom? To he who remains. To the TVA bureaucrats who got to play God, certainly not to the countless beings across the multiverse who had their free will stripped away, their potential futures erased before they could even begin. And let's talk about those timekeepers for a second. Giant all-knowing space lizards guiding the flow of time. Please, it was all smoke and mirrors. A convenient fairy tale to keep the TVA agents in line and justify their actions. The truth was far more insidious. A man, Kang variant or not, playing puppet master with the entire multiverse. But here's where it gets really interesting. Loki, our favorite trickster god, seemed to have a change of heart. He went from wanting to rule to apparently wanting to save everything. Noble, right? Maybe. Or maybe it's the greatest con he's ever pulled. Let's break down that season finale. Loki takes on the burden of holding the timeline together, becoming a singular point around which all of time revolves. He sacrifices his freedom, his relationships, everything, to keep the multiverse from collapsing. It's a beautiful, tragic moment, if you take it at face value. But this is Loki we're talking about, the god of mischief, the master manipulator. What if this wasn't a sacrifice, but a power play? Think about it. By becoming the linchpin of all reality, Loki has effectively made himself the most powerful being in existence. He's not just a king of Asgard or Earth anymore, he's the king of time itself. Every decision, every branching path now flows through him. He's become the ultimate puppet master, making he who remains look like a small-time hustler in comparison. And here's the kicker. He did it all while looking like the hero. No more villainous monologues or armies of aliens. Loki played the long game, and in the end, he got exactly what he always wanted. Control. Absolute, unquestionable control over reality itself. But let's dig even deeper. What does this mean for free will in the MCU? If Loki is now the arbiter of all timelines, does anyone truly have a choice anymore? Or are we all just playing out the story he wants to see? Remember, Loki's always been about chaos. But chaos doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes it's about change, about shaking up the established order. By taking on this role, Loki's ensured that the multiverse will never be static again. He's introduced an element of unpredictability into the very fabric of reality. And let's not forget, Loki's a shapeshifter, both literally and figuratively. Who's to say he'll stick to one version of events? He could be rewriting history as we speak, crafting the perfect narrative to suit his needs. The sacred timeline might be gone, but in its place, we have the Loki timeline, and that could be even more dangerous. Now, some might argue that Loki's changed, that his experiences have led to genuine growth. And sure, we've seen moments of vulnerability, of connection, but consider this. What better way to pull off the ultimate deception than to make everyone believe you've reformed? Let's look at the evidence. Throughout both seasons of Loki, we've seen him form bonds, show empathy, even sacrifice himself for others. But each of these actions, noble as they might seem, has also served to put him in a position of greater influence. His friendship with Mobius gave him insider access to the TVA. His connection with Sylvie led to the multiverse being blown wide open. Even his sacrifices have ultimately led to him gaining more power. It's the long con played out across the vastness of time and space. And we, the audience, might just be the marks. But here's where it gets really twisted. Even if Loki's intentions are pure, even if he genuinely believes he is doing the right thing, he has still set himself up as the ultimate authority over all of existence. And power, as we've seen time and time again in the MCU, has a way of corrupting even the best intentions. Think about it. how long before Loki starts making small changes. A tweak here, an adjustment there, all in the name of making things better. Before you know it, he's reshaping reality to fit his vision of how things should be, and who's to stop him? He's become judge, jury, and executioner for the entire multiverse. This brings us back to the TVA. Were they ever really the good guys? Or were they just a different flavor of the same problem? A group deciding they knew best for everyone else. Loki might have torn down their system, but he's replaced it with one centered entirely around himself. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, only this time with a lot more style and a much better wardrobe. So where does this leave us? With a multiverse hanging in the balance, its fate in the hands of a being known for trickery and self-interest. With questions about the nature of free will and the ethics of controlling time itself, and with the unsettling realization that maybe, just maybe, we've all been played. As we look ahead to the future of the MCU, we have to wonder, what's Loki's endgame? Is he truly the savior he appears to be? Or are we witnessing the birth of the most dangerous villain yet? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, in a world where Loki holds the strings of reality, nothing is certain, and everything is possible. In the end, perhaps that's the true nature of Loki's character. He's not just the god of mischief, but the embodiment of possibility itself. He represents the potential for both great good and terrible evil, for salvation and destruction. And as he sits at the center of the multiverse, weaving the threads of reality, we're left to wonder, which path will he choose? Loki sacrificed everything to hold the multiverse together, but in doing so, he may have become the very thing he sought to destroy. The TVA was never truly good. The sacred timeline was always a lie, and Loki's final act might just be the greatest manipulation in the history of the multiverse. As we eagerly await what comes next, one thing is clear. In Loki's New World Order, the only certainty is uncertainty itself.